Hello and welcome to Co-ople mode, a couple's opinion on gaming. I'm Matt.
I'm sick.
Yeah.
I'm Rose, but I'm sick.
Yeah.
But it might be a good time to say, I'm Batman.
Yeah, there you go. You got it.
I'm Batman. I really am Batman.
Yeah. Oh, stupid winter going into spring, cold spreading around. Ugh.
Just to our son and me.
Yeah.
You thought you almost felt a tickle in your throat for 2 hours, and then you're like, no, actually I'm good, because that's how you roll.
More like 99 times out of 100, you guys get a lot more sick than I ever do, and then that 1%, I'll just get wrecked, and you guys will be fine for some reason. I don't know what the difference
I'm
is.
standing over you as you lay in the bed dying. Like, what's wrong with you?
I'm fine. You suck it up.
Suck it up, Buttercup. Let's go. We got stuff to do.
Oh my goodness. Time to move on from the huge, expansive Breath of the Wild.
I'm not gonna actually.
No, she's still going to play. Yeah. I know how this is going to go. And I'm ready for it.
I'm just going to try. I'll give this next game a fair shot. Hope it hooks me quick.
You better do something about Zelda. You have any ideas what I might be making you play?
I've seen you play like a card game a lot lately, and I don't know what it is or if that's what this is. It did look interesting. That's probably not what you're going to make me play, is it?
Actually, it absolutely is.
Okay, you've been showing off.
Yeah,
you are that going I'm to so be sucked into Zelda.
It's Monster Train is the name of the game.
It looks interesting.
It is a very...
It looks like a deck builder game.
Yeah, it is a card battler deck builder roguelike.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I think it's right in your alley.
Yeah.
I usually try to not play things in front of you, but this game is one that I've played in front of you before.
Yeah, I thought so.
And I kind of was like, it doesn't matter. This particular one she sees.
I thought there was a cat.
There are cats in the house.
When you have two cats, like at any moment out of your peripheral, you could think, is that a cat?
Is that a cat? Yeah, I think this is a game, especially after your experience with roguelikes and Inscription.
I seem to like them.
I think this might tickle your fancy. This game was developed by Shiny Shoe and published by Good Shepherd Entertainment. It is the indie game of an indie game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Though I should say, I had trouble finding lots of information about this game, but Shiny Shoe had actually worked on and made remasters of games such as Grim Fandango, Day of the Tentacle, and Full Throttle, which are old point and click games.
Okay.
Some of them are like LucasArts games and stuff like that. You saw my son and me playing Full Throttle. That was that motorcycle one that we played.
You like that, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like you click around, find things in the environment, basically solve a different kind of puzzle every game with some mini games thrown in, right?
Okay.
So they did a few of these remasters, and then they made Monster Train, which got quite a lot of success. They are working on a new one called Inkbound, which is... how do I put it? The best way I can put it is a strategy game where all your characters are acting at the same time, and you can play multiplayer. So it will be you slow down time and tell people to do things, and they do it in real time. So it isn't like, oh, I use a stun attack on this guy, and then the next turn I come in and I can attack with my other guy. It's like you got to time everything out because it's all happening in real time consistently. I'm interested in it. And I'm going to look into it. I think as it gets closer to a release date, it's coming out this year sometime.
Okay.
But I think that's also something that could be really up your alley. And the fact that we could play cooperatively, I think you and me can do pretty good together on stuff like that.
We seem to be doing pretty well on cooperative games.
And yeah, so Monster Train was originally released on PC May 2020 and has since come out on Xbox, Nintendo Switch, and iOS. So you can get it in a few different places.
Okay.
I believe the Switch came out, usually when they come out on Switch, they'll do the first class edition or something like that, and you get all the DLC with it too, make
nice.
it, make it worthwhile to pick it up since it's been out so long. It has scored an 86 on Metacritic, and this is the PC version because the other ones only have like one review each, but they're all in a similar vein. Everybody kind of likes this. It also got the 19th best PC game for 2020 on Metacritic. So out of all the PC games that came out in 2020, this was 19th best. I was like, that's kind of a fun little thing. The other interesting thing is on Steam currently, which is, no, I own it in a couple other places. Anyways, on Steam, it scores an overwhelmingly positive, which means that I just checked this before I recorded this yesterday. That means 96% of the 15,953 people who have rated this game rate it positively. It's a thumbs up, thumbs down system. So, like, do you recommend this game? Thumbs up. Do you recommend it? 96%.
Okay, God, I heard the wrong number. I was like, that's not impressive. Why are you bragging? And then 96.
96.
Yeah, much better.
So, that's why it's overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah.
Almost everybody recommends it. There's a few people I've come across. There's another card battler roguelike game called Slay the Spire, which is very popular. Also very good.
I think I've heard of that one.
Yeah. That one, similar but different is the way I can put it. Some people really like how that one's set up and don't like how this one's set up.
Sure.
I think it just like comes to like this game I don't like for some reason, but so few people don't like it. That
little thing, yeah.
Almost everyone's like, if you like Slay the Spire, you'll like this. Or try Slay the Spire first, then come here. Or, you know, like vice versa.
That weird human brain thing where certain ones just don't like something and we don't know why. And the other ones love it and we don't know why.
I know, it, like...
Humans are so strange.
It's on a train and I hate trains. I hate them.
Trains are stupid.
I hate monsters and trains. But so this is the hard part, since this was like the first big game of this, you know, indie development company, and it's pretty recent. It's hard to find like those fun little nuggets about like things that happened during development and stuff like that. Like I was looking everywhere and I was having some trouble. So, but I think I'm just going to kind of talk about the game a little bit and see if I can talk you into it even more than Card Battler Deck Builder Roguelite, which probably already got you like an 8 out of 10 for excitement.
Got me interested.
Essentially, in this game, heaven has come in, taken over hell. Hell has literally been frozen over.
Okay.
So, as denizens of hell and the different clans, you are riding a train to the center of hell to relight the fire of hell and start it up again, right? So you're riding on this train to get there, and I think it's essentially like the 9 levels of hell, I guess, 9 rings, and you go through a few different battles, and as you do, you gain more units, gain more cards, there's special stops. Think of like Inscription, the first act, where you could go choose different paths, right?
Yeah, okay.
So after every battle, you can choose to go on the left or right track, and depending on what you do determines what kind of upgrades can you get. Do you get new units?
Can you see what those will be?
Yes, you can always see ahead. There is a couple different locations where you won't know what you're gonna get. Like it's not, it'll give you a choice of what you can risk to get something, but you don't know like what you're gonna risk. Your health, a unit, money, you know, like it's like what's the word? Why am I forgetting? It's like an event that happens and you never know what the event's going to be. There's so many different choices that'll happen on the same spot. So I usually will do that one first and then goes to ones where I have a better idea of what's going to happen.
Yeah.
That way it's like, okay, maybe if I get something good there that I can use at the other location or something of the sort. And combat works essentially is you build up a deck, and when you come in, you draw your deck, and you lay monsters on 3 different layers of a train. It's like a skyscraper train. There's 4 levels, and at the top is your pyre. That's your health. That's what you're protecting. And that's where all the angels and heaven warriors are trying to get to destroy that pyre and destroy your train. So you're trying to throw monsters on each level to stop them from making it to it. So you want to build like good combos on each floor that work well together, right? And oh man, this game is just a lot of fun. So it's kind of interesting how it goes about. And each battle, there's always a boss at the end. But it's like a really strong version of the enemies you've been fighting, usually. And then every third level, there's a big boss that will like hang outside the train while sending enemies in until the final wave, where then he comes in and he's like, now you got to fight me. And like these big bad bosses usually have some pain in the ass abilities.
Yeah.
In the end game, there's I'm going to mispronounce this. There's a big angel guy who there's different versions and colors of them. One will debuff all your creatures. One will make all your creatures weaker every time he's on the floor. One will, every time you hit him, his attack goes up, up, up. Every time he takes damage. So then he just keeps getting stronger as you're trying to chip away at his massive block of health. So you can look at what those big boss abilities are going to be at the start of your run. So you can actually try to build to like, okay, maybe this is what I can do to help myself, right?
That's nice.
And the other interesting thing about this game is the different clans. Now, every time you start a run, you pick 2 clans. You pick your main clan, which is going to give you your main champion. And then you pick a secondary clan, which is going to give you also a secondary card. So each clan gives you a special card that'll start in your deck and your champion, and then the secondary will just give you the special card, not a second champion. And the way all these clans can synergize together is very interesting. So, for example, you're going to just start out with 2 clans, the Hellhorned and the Awoken. The Hellhorned is like, think of your classic demon. Red, horns, angry, right?
Yeah.
And you start with their abilities, and the cards you get for Hellhorn characters are going to, like, they have rage. So rage means when they have the rage status effect, their attack increases and it goes down by 1 every turn. It ticks down. Like, it's like a barbarian. You can only rage for so long, right? And they also do armor, which adds armor to your cards that'll get taken away before your health gets hit, which is nice. And then these little imps, which is like, they're just these little creatures you slap in and they'll do like, I'm going to damage the front guy on the enemy party. I'm going to damage the whole party with a little explosion. Or I will give armor to the front ally in this train car. So like, it's really about putting these cards together. Now the Awoken are like these very like plant-like vines and grasping creatures. And so their things are, they can heal. They have a lot of healing cards in their stuff. They have a status effect called spikes, which anytime an enemy attacks you, they take damage. And then they have something called rejuvenate. So you'll get a card, it'll say every time it rejuvenates, it gains 3 spikes. So every time you heal that creature, it gets 3 more spikes, even if you only heal at 1 health.
Yeah.
So like if you get a good combo, it's like heal, heal, heal. Oh, they got like, by the end time the boss comes up, I have like 25 spikes.
Oh, wow.
Boss comes in, 25 damage. Ow. 25. Yes. Like it just gets
I love when you can build like that in a game.
Yeah, so you can build
so
up
fun.
on each other. So the Awoken have a lot of these like high HP units that are really good for like, hey, place these guys on the front line, let them take the hits and build up spikes on them so they keep just like, well, even if I'm taking damage, I'm hurting you, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like a fun mix. So like for Hellhorn and Awoken, you can throw some imps in the back, armor up that guy. So not only is he not actually taking any health damage, he's also hurting them. Like you can do all these cool things. The Awoken, I liked a lot more, and I liked using their main heroes more. And this is the other thing. Your champion card you pick, your main card, is you'll get a champion. He'll cost 0 points to summon, and you always get him in your first draw on your hand. And they really change how you play the deck.
Sure. Yep. Okay.
So I think the first one's a real basic guy. Like you can, as you progress through the map, you can upgrade your hero different directions. So I believe the main awoken guy, she has these like big, huge stone slab shields. So you can set her up so she just has a ton of health, right? Can tank a lot, or you can have it so every time someone gets healed on the floor, she gets spikes. And so like you can mix and match them as you go on. So you can always choose new things. So how you build your champions determine how you build your deck, determine how effective everything is. Like it's so interesting how each run can be so different.
Yeah, it sounds really good.
And the really fun thing is the more you play a certain clan, the more cards you unlock for possibly getting on each run.
Oh man. I'm sold already. You don't got to say anymore.
I
want to play it.
The more you play, the more you unlock the new different things you get. New monsters, new magic spells you can use, new ability, all these things. And this is just talking about the first 2 classes. You play a clan enough, you unlock an exiled champion. Plays completely different than the front champion.
Sure.
So for the Hellhorn, this is the one I know the most. You get like just this angry looking dude. The other one is this Shardtail Queen. She has this crazy like scorpion, like
stinger?
Crystal stinger. Yeah. Her thing is she does this really cool thing with imps. So she gets a special imp card just for her. And anytime you summon any creature on a floor she does rally. Increase her attack, increase her attack, increase her attack every time. But then you can get another ability that kills all the imps and does so much damage to enemies on that floor.
Okay.
So keep summoning imps. They're just going to die anyways. Treat them like a magic card.
Yep.
It'll strengthen my queen. It'll damage the enemy.
Funny, because you describing this makes me think of Heroes of Might and Magic 5 a lot, just because the different heroes that you pick for your clan can really determine how you want to build and play. Give you different bonuses and effects. It sounds like that in a roguelike card game.
Yeah, right?
The different clans with the different heroes that do different things. Yeah.
So I'll talk about the other ones. There is an extra clan in the DLC and I don't have that.
Okay.
And I literally just unlocked the last clan like this week. I was working hard trying to unlock it because you have to kill so many enemies. And I was like, I got to see what this last clan is about. And they're really interesting. And I don't know if they're my new favorite or not. So the third clan you get is called the Stygian Guard. And they're all about spells. They inflict spell weakness on enemies. Their creatures have an ability called Incant. Anytime you cast a spell on that floor, they get armor or they get attack and health increases. And they have Frostbite is their status effect. They inflict it on the enemies. So every turn, it's like a poison. Damage.
Elemental damage, right?
Then after that is called the Umbra. And they're like these really black, dark creatures.
Yeah.
And you summon these little morsels that bring food to your other creatures. So your creatures will eat these morsels if they're behind them. So whoever's at the front of your line eats all the morsels, gets attack buffs, gets healed, gets bonus health, or even special statuses like lifesteal. I every time I attack,
I just want to play this really bad. It sounds so cool.
And then you get creatures that'll have an ability called Gorge, where every time they eat, they get extra bonuses. So you can make these insane frontline creatures by the time the boss shows up. It's so fun. Yeah. And then the last one is the Melting Remnant, and they're like these candle people. They're wax and they're burning. So they have this status effect called Burnout.
Okay.
You'll have a creature come on, and let's say Burnout 2. Every turn, the burnout meter goes down, and when it goes to 0, they die.
Okay.
They can only live for so long. Well, one of the skills you can get for your main champion is you can reform up to 2 creatures of yours that have died, and they'll get burnout +1, but they also get an attack and a health bonus. They'll have more max health, more max attack right off the bat. And you can just summon them. Well, okay, they died again. Summon them again. They get even stronger. So like you keep reforming, and you have these cards that do it too. They come back as 0 cost cards, and they only live for so long. So you're just burning through your guys, but they're getting stronger every time.
It's like zombies, but candle style.
Yep.
Cool.
And then I found a cool unit that every time she gets hit, she has a lot of health. She adds burnout to the cards on that train car.
Okay.
So I set it up so I let a lot of enemies die right away. Die, or my guys die. beef them up. And then right before that final attack, well, throw her out, throw my other guys out. She gets attacked by everybody.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, all my guys stay alive through the fight. Oh,
That's interesting.
this game.
That sounds like a good, distinct difference between the different types of gameplay on each one.
Absolutely. And as you unlock new things, it makes such interesting decks. It makes such interesting hands. And you can mix any two and you can make it viable. I mean, I feel like some meld together a little easier than others.
Sure.
But it's fun to mix and match and see what you get, you know? I really enjoy this. And the one other fun little thing is whenever you get to the boss wave, the last enemy or the big boss, when they finally come into the floor, they do something that's called relentless. They all have this.
Oh.
So when they start the fight, usually there's one attack, turns over, you can play some more cards. No.
They're going to keep attacking.
Yep, so it'll be keep attacking back and forth until either they're dead or your creatures are dead. They'll freeze the floor, move on if they get past.
Okay.
So you have to be set up because you're only going to get a couple times to play cards from your hands when you get into that final boss rush.
Okay.
So you really got a plan for it. So sometimes like I haven't been set up and all of a sudden I'm trying to scramble.
Yeah.
Though luckily your pyre at the top will do damage to creatures up there. It usually has a pretty good attack and it beefs up as you go through the waves. But you really want to protect that.
You can't rely on it.
I've been playing this a lot, and this is one of those games I put down in the list pretty early on, especially after Inscription. You played that, and that stuck, and I'm like, I'm going to put Monster Train on here because...
Monster Train.
Yeah, I'm like, I think she'll really like it, and the fact that you're always leveling up these clans, you're always unlocking things, and even if... Like, you might not always get that card you unlocked on the next run, but it's there.
There's a chance, right?
Yep, and it's very nice how they do it. So every time you beat a battle, you can get a chance to pick cards, right? So it'll usually like, hey, you get to pick from your main clan's cards. It'll give you 3 cards to pick from. Okay, choose whatever magic spells you think are going to work for your build. Oh, you've got a new unit you can pick. Okay, pick from here. You know, you always have a choice. So it's not like, okay, you get one card, you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
It's, here's 3 cards, pick one you want. And if you don't like it, you can get some money you can spend on the shops along the way, like, and beef them up. So you go to these shops, like there's a merchant of magic and a unit merchant that you can do to make your units or magic cards even stronger. Cost less ember to summon.
Sure.
Do more damage, have more health. There's one called Large, which like just makes them take up more spots on each floor.
Okay.
But in exchange for a lot more health and attack. So you can really build like a whole deck around just like one really strong guy. You know, there's a really cool Hellhorn character, 10 ember to summon, and you only get 3 per turn to start with. And it's like, how the hell am I going to summon this guy? Well, for every imp you have on the field, it lowers how much he costs by like, I can't remember if it's 2 or 3 ember.
Okay.
And he's like 50-50, which is pretty beefy.
Yeah.
It's so interesting to be like, okay, this card looks cool. How can I make this work? You know what I mean?
It does sound like Inscription. I mean, there's different things like that in there.
Yeah, like how Inscription is very much about synergy between putting characters out on the field. This one is about finding that mix between putting characters out on the field and using magic to beef them up.
But the more you play Inscription, the more you find out there's synergy between mixing and matching sometimes too.
That's true. Yep.
The last time I played a few weeks ago, there was a trick that I was doing between bees and the rabbit burrow where I was just creating.
Oh, a ton of, yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was insane.
Yep.
I just had all these extra cards in my hand, just one after the other. Boom, 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 boom. And then depending on which totem you have, I got to think about this. I think I had the squirrel head on, gosh, I can't remember how it worked.
Spikes or?
I think it was making it so that the rabbits from the burrow had more attack, and it was I know what it was. It was the death one where they come back to life like every time they die on the board,
yeah, they go in your hand.
it in my hand.
Yep.
So then by the end, like, and the rabbit burrow's making more too. So I'm just getting like so many cards on my hand, and it was like, I don't care what you try to do to me, I'm gonna win this battle because I just have too many damn cards. Yep. You can't win against me. Yeah, there's different mixes and matches that you can do that just make things really, really work for you in that game when you find it. The hard part is you got to draw the cards, right?
Yes.
And in an inscription, you usually do get a choice of 3, but you don't always see what they are. You might get a clue or a hint,
right? This one you always see exactly what it is.
Sure.
There is, anytime there's a shop, you can spend money to get rid of cards from your deck if you want. Or they'll be, they're called unstable vortexes, which you can get rid of up to 2 cards for free. So like the game's nice in that it'll give you what's called train stewards, which is like a neutral kind of like creature card. Not super strong, but good enough to get you through the beginning of the game, like the first couple rounds, right? And usually by the end, I've gotten enough other units where it's like, okay, having you guys come up is a waste of a draw most of the time.
Sometimes it's funny, like Dicey Dungeons too. You wouldn't think that getting rid of cards would be helpful in a deck building game, but sometimes it is very necessary.
It makes it so you get the cards that are more useful more often. So like you got to find that
there's a balance
there. Yeah, because if you have too few, here's the thing. Normally when a creature dies, you can't, he's gone. You're not going to draw him again. He's dead.
Okay.
So that's important to know. Like there are special certain cases where you can get it back, or like there's a ability called Endless you can upgrade a unit with, where anytime they die, they go back to the top of your deck. You'll draw them next hand.
Okay.
That burning, the candle people I was talking about, the burning remnant, they're all about, they die, they come back. That's like their whole gimmick.
That's their thing.
Yes, and that works on non-burning remnant characters as well. So I had like...
if your deck is mixed in with them?
Yeah, so I had the train stewards in the first round, they died. All of a sudden, I could bring them back with burnout, and it's like, oh, okay, now they're candle people, I guess. Like, cool. You know, so it's nice to know that even if my other guys die, they're still useful. So, this one's so fun, and I've been actually really enjoying just like running through, and every time you beat a run, you unlock the next covenant, which makes the challenge tougher. It adds like, the first covenant makes the enemies tougher. Then the second one adds some useless cards in your deck. So sometimes you'll draw a useless card. But usually they try to balance it. So it just keeps getting more difficult as you're going if you want to do it that way. I usually play on Covenant 1 or 2. Just because I feel like Covenant 1 is like the right challenge for where I'm at right now.
Have you beaten this game?
Yes, I've beaten runs. Okay. Yeah, fairly often I've gotten through where like sometimes you'll hear me giggle and I got a good combo going and I'm like, hell yeah, baby. And I'll beat them. So I have successfully made runs, but it's so much about just like having fun and experimenting with stuff. Yeah. There is some other modes where like there's a challenge mode where it gives you like a specific deck to try to get through. There's a multiplayer mode where you can try to see who can get through a run faster. Like literally everyone's playing at the same time. So like if you really want to mix it up, you can do that. But I like going in standard run. Let's see what I can do and have fun with it. Mm-hmm. I think you'll really enjoy this. And I think this is a kind of game you can come in, do a run. Oh, I'm going to play some Zelda more now after that. But this one might get its hooks in you. Yeah,
it sounds like a good choice to bring me after Breath of the Wild. I actually want to go check this out right now.
So out of 10, what's your excitement rating?
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
It sounds really fun.
Anytime she gets a 10 out of 10, I get worried about how good it's going to plan out.
Sometimes it goes really well. Sometimes it doesn't.
Well, let's get out of the studio. Let's go experience some Monster Train.
Monster Train.
And choo-choo, motherfucker.
Yeah.
And let's have some fun. We'll see you guys in a bit. Bye-bye. Hello and welcome back from the going off the rails on a monster train. Went to hell and back on a monster train. Woo! Yeah, so we've had some time on the monster train and
I'm ready monster train in hell.
Yeah,
Exactly. It is hellbound. What are you feeling? How are you feeling?
Well, it surprised me when I started playing it. I mean, you described it really well and the gameplay really, really well. But like the aesthetic of it kind of threw me for a loop at first because it is a monster train in hell. I expected it a little darker, I guess.
Oh, okay.
And like really the graphics, they're not cartoony, but they're not as terrifying as I expected them to be, maybe. I don't know what the right word is there.
I can see what you're saying. You were thinking a little more
extreme.
What's the word? Like Cthulhu, like creepy, scary monsters, but it's more kind of like bright, colorful.
Yeah.
You know,
and
like very distinct monsters.
Definitely not a bad thing because they're all really cool. They all still look really cool. But it did kind of throw me a little bit. And it is wild too because you are literally the devils and demons of hell fighting angels. And honestly, the angels look bad.
Yeah,
in a mean way, not graphically. They just look very scary and dangerous, which I also thought was kind of a cool twist on it. Mm-hmm. They don't come in all bright and rainbowy and sunshiny like you normally would think of an angel. They come in like as warriors ready to F you up, and they're assholes, actually.
Yeah, I mean, thinking about it, I think there's only one of the bosses actually she kind of looks angelic.
Talos, the architect.
Yeah, and then the final boss is always a version of Seraph. Mm-hmm. You know, different colors. And I mean, he looks angelic, but more like an angelic god, like a war, you know, like he's not there to bring peace and love.
Doesn't really look angelic to me. He looks demonic in itself.
Almost, in a way.
Just a lot of winged armor.
Yeah, right? Oh, brutal. He's brutal.
He is brutal.
But it is interesting, all the different angelic army designs, because they are kind of scary and like almost like overzealous in like the worst way.
The amount of characters that you have for the angels and for yourselves as the demons is insane in this game.
Yes.
There is so much work put into there. You have a lot of different types of armies that you yourself can use. Mm-hmm. And I think there's 6 clans total? The 6th is on the DLC that you can buy.
Yes, exactly.
But every clan has a secondary exiled champion, which also brings you in new cards to use. So you really go off with 10 different options right off the bat. I mean, you have to level up to get those exiled champions, but that really doesn't take too long. You just have to play till you hit level 5. That's maybe 2 runs. I mean, it's not that bad.
Yep.
And then you have all these other combinations that you can make, and it's so much fun that way. But just in the people that you battle, there's a lot of variety there in what they do, how they look, how they attack you, what kind of armor they have. There is so much going on in this game.
Yeah.
I really, really am a roguelike girl. Like, I totally am just 100% down for all of these games.
Yep.
I loved it. And it's so much fun to me. But this one especially, I really, really enjoyed Inscription. And that does have a lot of variety in cards and everything. But this one, when you are battling, the way that you set up and the cards that you get and the artifacts that you get and the things that you do and the way you use it, you have so much going on at one time with some of these clans. It's insane. And part of that is just because of the way that they're built. One of the really good ones to use as an example is the Umbra clan, which
I love them.
Is really cool. They are all about eating morsels. And that gives them more power. That gives them guards against attacks. That gives them all these different things. So you are specifically just trying to feed your warriors as much as you can.
Yeah, you literally summon these little guys onto the field as monsters and hope they survive the round of combat just to get eaten so it powers up your front guy.
They look like the little coal guys in Spirited Away.
Yep. That is a good way to put it. And,
They're cute.
It is very much, if you look at the Umbra cards, it's very much a minor aesthetic. Like every morsel is holding a different gem, and that determines what ability gets bestowed upon the person that eats them. And all the cards are like feed the fire, mine, you know, like all kind of this That is very much the vibe.
It can range pretty drastically too, because you can get like +6 health or +6 attack, or there's you're throwing your Gundams everywhere.
I bumped it. I got excited.
You can get a card that gives you +1 Ember, +1 attack, +1 health. So you get an extra Ember right away during that turn if they get eaten, or right after. An Ember is what you need to use your cards. The more Ember that you have, the more moves you can potentially make on your turn. That one can get pretty wild because you are stacking up these little cute morsel guys everywhere for your big old Umbra dark people to eat. The other one that gets pretty wild is the Wickless.
Oh, I know.
Because
the melting remnant.
Yes,
yeah,
thank you.
Yep.
They are basically candle people, and you want them to die because you reform them, bring them back, and they're stronger with more health and more attack. And the more they die, and then the more they die, the stronger they become. But then also some of the warriors get a buff called Harvest, which gives them more health and attack every time a friendly unit dies. So you are just putting up these weak ass candle people over and over as much as you can, just packing them in and letting them die because it just buffs these other big dudes around them, and then they also get more buff. You reform them, bring them back. That clan has been the easiest for me. I have won 3 battles with that clan, and I have only won 5 battles overall playing, and I've played this game a lot. I have been really trapped in this game. It was a very good choice after Breath of the Wild because it did pull me away.
Oh, it did.
But like I said, I'm just going to say I am a roguelike girl. You throw that kind of game at me, I'm in it to win it, baby.
Roguelite deck builders for the win.
I love it. Yep. That is my thing.
You know,
I learned what my thing is.
Right? You just had to play different.
I never knew I had a passion for this type of game, but it totally makes my neurons just buzz with happiness while I'm playing. I love the strategy of it. I love the quick pace. I love how every run is different. And I also, you just never want to stop playing because even if you have a run where you aren't getting the cards you want, you're not getting good artifacts that help you, you're like, whatever, I'm going to die and I'm going to start over again. And maybe the next run will be better. Maybe I'll get this cool thing. It just keeps feeding that addiction.
You know, the funny thing about that is that even if you have a run where you're not getting what you hope for a really good run, you might find a new combo out of necessity. And then you're like, oh, this is like a new way I can do it. And this is what, if I pick this champion ability with this, it'll make it even
you have
stronger.
To strategize on the fly.
There's so much that can mix together, and there's so much that are random because each champion has 3 different abilities that it's possible to get. But when you go in, you got to pick from 2 every time you upgrade it.
Yes.
So you kind of never know what you're going to end up with.
I think you upgrade your champion 3 times.
Yes,
overall.
3 times.
And that's exciting too because you don't know what's going to be offered to you, and it can actually drastically change the way that you are playing the game
hugely
depending on what you pick.
Yep.
And it's fun to pick different things. That's the thing. They did such a perfect job of making this game playable for so long. You can't get old. It can't get old. You can't get tired with it because there's so many options, even though there's 5 clans with the regular game. There's different heroes. They each have 3 different sets of abilities that you can choose from. There's and plus, you pick your primary champion, but then you pick a secondary clan to come along with you. So you're constantly mixing different decks with different things, and you have all those mixtures that way as well. It was a very well thought out way to do it. And then you add in all of the different artifacts because I haven't even seen them all. And I've been playing this game solid for 2 weeks. I mean, every day I saw some new ones.
I saw some new ones watching you play. I'm like, I haven't even seen that one.
I'm still seeing new cards, new artifacts, and the artifacts are just fun. That's kind of my favorite thing to get in this game because they really make a difference in how your run goes. They really help you either smash that enemy, or if you don't have them, you are toast. You are burnt toast in hell.
Oh, it is so interesting. It is. I really feel like almost the best kind of roguelite, where you're always unlocking something. You're always moving forward. Even if you fail a run, you're still making progress towards unlocking stuff, and you can unlock on a card that completely change a run, you know?
Even if you fail, you still unlock 2 new cards usually.
Almost always. I know there is a limit to when you finally unlock all the cards. Yeah, for an available clan.
Sure.
But like, I've played quite a bit, and so have you now, and it's like there's still consistently new things being unlocked.
And then if you win, you unlock a new artifact, new cards. It's very, very satisfying. It's hard to stop playing.
It is. And this is very much one of those games, and this is how I kind of played it before I was really trying to hardcore it before you played it, was like, oh, you know what, that'll be fun. I'll do a run or two, you know, that's what I'll do. And then like, I'll play whatever else I'm playing, and then I'll come back to it in like a week or two. Like, it's something you can just jump in, especially once you have the basic understanding of how the game play, and you can just enjoy it and like, oh yeah, I love this card. Like, you know, it feels so good and fresh every time.
I also really appreciated the variety of ways that you play in this game, because the clans are so different from each other.
Yes.
You start out with the Hellhorned, and they're your typical, like, what you think of as demons. And they're all about going in and smashing.
Yep.
But then you have the Awoken right away as well that you're going to have as your secondary. And they're basically like a plant-based people. And they're all about healing and recovering a lot. They're more about defense. They have like a spike ability where you can have spikes on you so that every time somebody attacks you, they take damage as well. So they're more defensive, but really beefy. And it's nice to have those mixed in. But then you get the Stygian clan, which is water, like, it is the mermaid and shark clan, which is also awesome, by the way. Like, my mermaid warriors here to give you frostbite, rip your head off. They're kind of a mixture. They do a lot of spell casting, though.
Yes,
it's all about spells. It's not so much about going in and smashing. So and then like we were talking about, you get the Umbra, and that's completely different because it's anything you want depending on what morsels you use. And then the Melting Remnant is just...
They kind of work well with everybody, too.
Yeah, they do. And they're completely different. I don't even know what to compare them to or how to describe them, because it's something that's not used a lot, where you want your friendly units to pass away and die.
Yeah, it's very interesting because a lot of the Melting Remnant, they have what's called burnout. So they have a time limit for how many turns they can even stay alive, no matter how much health they have. So the whole point is like,
bad initially.
It's all like, death and rebirth. Like, that's the whole Melting Remnant deck, you know.
Why do I want a champion that's going to die in 3 turns? Yeah. Because you're going to reform him and he's going to do 145 attack with 145 health.
Yeah. He's going to be able to
be your beefy boy.
Beef his way through everything.
You're going to get to the final wave. You're going to put him in the front, and he's going to wreck everything.
Yeah. I think I really do enjoy this game so much, and I'm not sure how much the DLC is, but I think it'd be worth it.
$10.95, I believe.
Yeah?
Yes.
That's not so bad. I mean, especially considering that the main game is on Game Pass for us right now, buying the DLC, like, for how much fun I've had with this game, it's worth $10.
Yeah, we should have bought it just to try it out before we recorded this. We kind of failed that way.
Well, that's okay. I think it's just an appropriate of like, hey, here's Monster Train. It's on Xbox Game Pass, PC Game Pass. If you already have those things, it's easy to find and try, and it's definitely worth it. You can get it on Steam, you know.
That clan is the Last Divinity DLC.
Yeah, I think they're called the Worm Clan.
Yep, that's what I see. A lot of big gluttonous worms.
Big wormy boys.
A lot of sharp teeth.
So I don't know. I'll have to try it out, and then maybe we can bring it up some other time. Honorable mention kind of thing.
But yes, very, very fun. Very original. It's fun to play as the bad guys for once.
Yeah, right. And it's not even like bad guys in like, oh, they're just messing with heaven. It's like, we just want our homeland, we want to light hell back up and start it back on fire. It's not even, you don't even feel guilty about it. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about that you thought was just interesting?
I think the last thing that I would like to mention is the layout on the maps. It changes every run, which is pretty standard for this type of game. But the variety of things that are on the map and how you can use them, I think is also really well done too. Because you can upgrade your spells. You can upgrade your warriors. You can get a chance to duplicate a card. You can get a chance to take cards away. You can get health back for your pyre, which you might need if somebody was able to get up there and attack.
Which happens.
You can get some extra money. You can get artifacts. Like, you can grab another unit for your army. There's a lot there. And with the randomization of all of that stuff within themselves too, there's so much variety there that you don't get bored of doing it over and over and over again. So there's like this big drastic difference here between a game like this and a game like Dicey Dungeons. And I'm sorry to throw shade at that a little bit. No, it's okay. But I was getting very bored with Dicey Dungeons. I was sick of seeing the same stuff over and over and over. The runs were too similar, right? I remember feeling that way. Like, just being annoyed while I played.
That is the difference between this game being a roguelite where you have stuff that carries over between runs. You're getting stronger, like you have more at your disposal to help you through, right?
Yeah.
Dicey Dungeons is very much a roguelike in that, hey, each level gets harder. That's all you unlock is new levels where it gets harder. Like, is there equipment in there? But it's always the same items for that level. Like, you're not going to find drastically new stuff or something that's going to make, like, really help you between runs. It's always... Every run is a fresh run.
Yes, completely. 100%.
Yeah, and that's why I think that one can get a little bit harder. And I like...
Well, I mean, even with the enemies, just seeing the same enemies with the same moves over and over again. Same... And I mean, the background and everything, it's just, you're on a train in Monster Train. It's the same background every time. But there's such a difference in, like, what you're doing, how you're playing, that versus Dicey Dungeons where, I mean... I guess in that you're just getting your ass handed to you over and over, so it just doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
For some,
I can say
I hate to say it. No, that's okay. I don't think that's a bad game. I think to me, I think about Dicey Dungeons and I'm like, that could have been better. Like, I like it. I wish it was a little different though. Yeah. But I also think that that's me, and maybe I'm just not smart enough to get through that game. I mean, obviously some people can do it. The creator has had to at some point play this game.
You would hope so.
And been able to, like, complete it. I want to know somebody that's actually completed it.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
anybody.
I want them to show me how you do it in some way.
Maybe we can find a playthrough online or something. I think this is a very fun type of game. If this sounds like it's up your alley and you can try it, try this. Other games that are very, even like Inscription is very good. Roguelite, very similar card game. And one of the most popular ones is called Slay the Spire. And I believe that is also on Xbox Game Pass. And it is also a roguelike deck builder. It plays out a little different. I think you're one guy and your deck changes and you like the abilities and stuff you can do depending on your guy, as opposed to this one where like you're summoning creatures and mixing in. So like more like Inscription is you're summoning creatures out and that's how you're really making the changes.
Yeah, you have some luck of the draw there.
Yeah, they're both really good. I think I played Slay the Spire a little bit, and I almost think I should go back and give her another go because it is good, but I think I kind of fell in love with Monster Train a little bit more, and it might just be the way that you're upgrading, you're moving forward. Like, I think that what do you call it? That lizard brain is like, ding, you got something new. Woo! Like it just makes me want to keep going,
The dopamine.
I follow the dopamine. Yeah. Yep, that's exactly what's going on.
But if it makes you feel better, I'm sitting right next to you, just getting high on the supply too.
Well, yeah, I'm glad you can enjoy these roguelites.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, because I like I said, like back when we first started this, I think it was during Inscription where I first said, like, I found out I really like roguelikes, especially ones that have this carryover and this progress between runs.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it gets me.
Yeah. I didn't realize how fun that is. I don't think I ever had played a game like that. Not a video game.
I think it's just, and I've said this before, it's that difference. Like you have these like big games like Breath of the Wild, really good game, right?
Yes.
Big story, lots of things you can do, lots of fun. But then you get a roguelite and it's like, I can just go and do a run. I get some unlocks and then it's more fun the next time I go through. And it's like, I can get this, like, I always am able to have time for these little runs as opposed to like, I need 2 hours to get somewhere in Zelda.
You think you have time for a little run, but
yeah, and then I have my hour and a half Vampire Survivors run.
Yeah, stopping is the hard part with a game like this.
All right. I had a lot of fun. I'm glad you really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good pick, and I'm always happy when I get a successful pick.
You gonna ask?
What's your rating?
Jeez. Sitting here waiting. Like, aren't you gonna check? Hey,
I will check.
Don't end the podcast.
We're done. We're going. I'm out. Bye-bye.
I think this should be a good 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah?
I almost want to give it 9, but I don't think it quite deserves a 9. It's tough. I think 8.5 feels really fair to me. I don't think it's the best thing ever. I still like Inscription more, but see, Inscription has 3 different separate acts to it. Like,
and the story's kind of interesting, too.
And there's extra other add-ons that are things that you do and figure out and puzzles to solve. So, I mean, that's got to get a 10 out of 10, right? And if that's what our 10 is sitting at, I think Monster Train definitely should sit at 8.5 or a 9 out of 10. It is fantastic. I think I'm really thankful that they took so much time in coming up with all of these different ideas for the clans, for the items that you get, the cards, artifacts, all of this stuff adds up to make this game really, really good, really, really fun, not boring.
No.
It's very replayable. I mean, it's like $20 when you buy it. It's totally worth $20.
It is.
You're going to get a lot of hours out of this game if this is the type of game you like. I would imagine that there's some people out there that don't like this style of game.
I did see some reviews where people are like, Slay the Spire is better, but I think that's just a personal preference.
Roguelites.
Yeah, even that too. Yeah. So you definitely think you're going to play it again?
I would definitely play this game again. I don't know. I actually did sneak in a little bit of Breath of the Wild time.
Yes, you did.
In this and I finished Goron Mountain, Death Mountain, I mean.
Yep.
So I am excited. I really want to finish Breath of the Wild, and I know that that's going to take me a long time. Like I said, I'll let you guys know in a year when I am finished with it, and then I'll move on to Tears of the Kingdom. But I do want to keep going with that, and I'll probably shift my focus there. But it's not going to be hard to convince me on a weeknight because, like you said, you can get through it in a decent amount of time.
Yeah.
It's not going to be hard to convince me to sit down and play some Monster Train.
Yeah. I got a half hour before bedtime. Well, let's play some Monster Train.
I think at first it took me like an hour and a half a run just because I had to read so much of the cards.
Yeah.
Like there was a lot that was new to me. I'm getting through a run in about an hour now. I've picked up my pace a little bit.
I suppose, yeah.
And I mean, that's pretty satisfying. You felt like you actually played for a while. You got to relax. It's a good amount of time, right? But yeah, 30 minutes isn't enough. So that was the moral of my little story there. 30 minutes ain't enough. I need more. 1 hour minimum. Then I'll beg you for another 15 minutes.
All right. Now it's my turn to wait. I'm watching
for what?
you.
What do you think I got for you?
You usually got something right about now where you try to like butt in before I go through our ending credits. What do you got?
I don't got anything.
Oh, underprepared.
Just kidding. I got a train joke.
Yeah, that's what I knew. Let's do it. Let's hear it.
How does a train avoid detection?
It covers its tracks.
Oh, God dang it.
Yes! 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 Yes!
You won!
Woo!
What did he win?
I guessed it.
You got it. Good job.
Oh, my gosh. That almost felt better.
I am the dad.
I am the dad. I powered up so much. I want to say thank you to Brother Ray for our caricatures.
Thank you.
I love them. I enjoy them. And I am going to happily keep using them.
Thank you for the music.
Oh, thank you. And I want to say thank you to our listeners. We appreciate you so much. We're happy you're tuning in. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. I got a TikTok I'm running through. I got a Twitter, not used as often as my other ones, but I mean,
Twitter's kind of going to the monster.
Nobody
train.
has blue checks anymore, anyways. I ain't paying $8.
Anybody can pay $8 to say that, you.
Excuse me.
Twitter's on the monster train in hell right now.
Yeah. Twitter's going on the monster train. Oh my goodness. But yeah, feel free to leave a comment, or there's a section on Spotify. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts. We'd really appreciate it. And
you can leave a suggestion for a game that you want me to try out.
Absolutely.
Because chances are real good Matt has played it. And if he hasn't, he'll be so excited to try a new game. You'll make his day.
For sure. I will be happy to take suggestions. It's for research. Yep.
We're doing some streaming once in a while, but you can catch those videos on YouTube if you want to watch us play It Takes Two.
Yep.
Which we're having fun doing.
I'm really enjoying. I'm excited for our next chance to play that.
I'm excited to play that some more with
and
you.
I've been playing God of War, and it's been a lot of fun. I've been enjoying it a lot.
So if you want to watch us play something, you can do that there. Otherwise, like Matt said, thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. I'm Matt.
I'm Rose.
And this has been Co-ople Mode. Woo! You keep gaming with your bestie. Ta-ta!